Good morning, everyone. Today, our group will present a research titled Analysis of Factors Affecting the Quality of Human Resources. And this is a case study at the National Economics University. Now, at first glance, this topic sounds quite familiar with almost everyone here because every university claims that they are producing the high quality human resources. But the real question is, are students actually ready for the labor market or just ready for the exams at school? And that is exactly why we chose this topic. According to our research proposal, in the context of the fourth industrial revolution, human resources quality is no longer just about knowledge, but a combination of knowledge, skills, and attitude. However, there is a noticeable gap between what students are taught and what businesses actually require. To answer this question, we conducted a survey with NEU students focusing on four main groups of factors. The first one is the training programs and teaching methods. The second one is the student motivation and engagement. The next one is infrastructure. And the last one is the link between university and businesses. So before going into our analysis, let's take a quick look at our sample. So, as you can see in the slide, according to the chart, 55% of respondents are the second-year students, which is quite interesting because they are experienced enough to evaluate the program, but not that fully shocked by the rules of market. So, their opinions are honest but not that traumatized. And now I will move to the first factor, the training programs and the teaching methods. So let's start with the practical relevance. From the chart on the slide, the responses are quite mixed, but overall lean slightly negative. This means that students are not fully convinced that what they learn is actually useful for the real jobs. So that's we are learning a lot. That's not always what we will use in the future. Next, regarding foundational courses, the situations become clearer and not in a good way. As you can see in the slide, more than half of the students believe that these courses do not effectively develop logical thinking or problem-solving skills, which is quite ironic because that is exactly what we are supposed to do. And it gets even worse in the next chart. Um, as you can see, this is the most negatively rated factors. Students strongly feel that foundational skill courses like real-world relevance. So basically, we are building a foundation that students don't think they will stand on.
Thank you. Now we will move to the next part. Moving to the digital skills, students also believe that courses are not keeping up with the requirement of the digital economy. So while the world is moving forward, the curriculum seems to be carefully walking behind. However, not everything is negative. On the next slide, students actually appreciate teaching methods. A majority agree that instructors use active learning methods. So the issue is not how teachers teach, but what is being taught. Then now looking at what students find useful. As you can see, the most valued knowledge areas are mathematics and analysis and basic economics. Meanwhile, subjects like political and legal theory are considered the least relevant. So students are clearly saying, give us things we can actually use. And finally, when asked how to improve, the top answer is increase real-world case studies from businesses. Then the following by updating the curriculum and reducing the theoretical content. So the message here is very clear. Students are not rejecting education, they're rejecting irrelevant education. Now I will move to the second factor, so start student motivation and engagement. As you can see, on the left side, around 60% of students do not actively seek additional knowledge beyond the textbook, which is quite surprising. Students criticize the curriculum, but at the same time, they don't really try to go beyond it. So the problem is not only the system, but also the students themselves. Next to the next to the ninth graph, most students report a lack of confidence in their problem-solving abilities, even after internships or projects. So despite having practical experience, many still don't feel ready to actually solve real problems. That's just not a gap. That's in the warning side. And the last part on the right side, career orientation is also unclear. A large number of students do not have clearly defined career goals, so they are studying but not exactly sure for what.
Moving to infrastructure, the results show a very interesting contrast. Physical facilities are rated negatively. Students feel they are outdated or insufficient. The learning environment is mostly neutral, meaning it does not strongly encourage creativity. But digital infrastructure like online libraries and databases is highly appreciated. So in short, offline is struggling while online is doing quite well. And now the connection between university and businesses. This part is even more contradictory. On one hand, about 61% of students agree that job fairs and workshops help them understand employers, so students know what companies want. But on the other hand, about 62% of the university students say that it does not provide enough job or internship opportunity. So the students understand the game but don't know where to play it. That is a gap. And finally, regarding overall human resource quality, students feel confident in their ability to adapt to modern working environments, which sounds great. But at the same time, many are unsure whether their skills meet the standards of large corporations. So are they confident in some part, but also not really confident, which is probably the most honest answer possible. To conclude, our research highlights three main issues. The curriculum lacks practical relevance. Student motivation and orientation are limited. The connection between university and businesses is incomplete. So improving human quality at NDU is just not about teaching more. It should be more about teaching the right things, encouraging proactive learning, and strengthening real-world connections. And in the end, the goal is not to provide students who are good at studying, but students who are ready to work. Thank you for listening.